Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Jaspreet and today it's time for another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how I make this beautiful flower bowl. As you can see, it's a beautiful round bowl. This is actually a hand built bowl which is made using a template. I will show you a few different variations. Now when I say variations, what I mean is the different stages that you have to get to before you get to this one. So the first one will obviously be a straight edged bowl, which is the very basic. The second stage is when you add a little bit of volume and you bring in the curves here. And third stage is when you add these little indents and create petals. So that's what I mean by variations. So that's what we'll be doing. In fact, you see this variation here where I have about 6 of these petals or indents. Here's another variation which has about 8 of these indents. So you can make this shape. Again, this is made using exactly the same template. Let me just show you the difference between the two. They are, as you can see, they're more or less the same. It's made using exactly the same template. It's how you shape it, how you add the belly that will make a difference. So that's the project for today. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. All right, so here's my clay slab rolled to 1/4 of an inch thickness. I've already compressed the clay using a soft silicone, not a soft, like this yellow silicone drip. Already done the compression. Now I'm going to bring in my template. This is the template that I use and it is available for purchase. Obviously, this is my version of the template. Right, so I'm just going to place the template here first and mark out the bowl form, just a template where exactly I need to add the texture. Now for texture, I am thinking of using a doily. Now I have this doily which I think will cover the entire surface. So yeah, I think I'll use this doily. I'm just trying to see which side is more prominent in texture. Place it here. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. All right. So I'm going to place the doily here and now bring my pony roller and then just start pressing the texture in. So once I'm happy with the way I've pressed it all in, it's time for a texture reveal, which is always amazing. Yay, that's pretty. All right, I'm going to just lift my slab a little bit and release it from the board. Then I'm going to bring my template again. The slab would have lightly stretched a little bit. It's okay. And again, find where you want to place. Remember, this is going to be the top and this is going to be the bottom of your bowl. Now, starting with a needle tool, I'm going to first cut the top here and the base, straight angles, going in straight and holding on to the template and just cutting out bowl shape. Doing the same on the inside as well, the inner semicircle. All right, then bringing in a knife, an X-Acto knife here. I'm just going to cut this at an angle like this and then come in here and, change the angle. So this is going to be slightly tricky because this is almost a circle that we're coming at. So here I'm making a bevel cut, which is an outward bevel cut, right? So one of them will be out. The other one has to be on the inside, leaning in. That's all. Okay, you can do it later also if it's too confusing for you, but there you go. I'm going to pull this out. Don't throw this away, we will need it to cut out the base. I'm going to just place it on the side here. Remove this. Now I'm going to get started with the top first. Just clean the edge here. Clean it off with a damp finger. This clay is a stoneware clay but has a little bit of grog. So I'm not using a sponge, I'm rather using my hand to smoothen out my rim here. Okay, actually it's better to bring a board so they can flip this easily. Yeah, that works. Okay, so I'm going to move this onto another board so I'm able to flip the clay a little bit more easily and move it around. Okay, here and then do the same on this side. This is going to be the inside of the bowl because you have texture on the outside. Inside is going to be plain. Okay, and now I'm gonna score the sides here. I like to use a serrated rib dipped in water, and I create enough texture, enough slip right here. I'm gonna do the same on this side, just lift it up a little bit and score nicely. Okay, and then put the slip back here. All right, now it's time to attach the two sides. Now if your clay is too soft and floppy, let it set up. My clay is kind of okay. It is not too soft and it's not too stiff, so it's at the perfect stage. So I'm going to just bring the two sides together like this, overlap it. That's why we create the bevels. Okay, and then I am just doing this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just lining the top and the bottom first with the overlap. And then once that's done, you're going to lift this, oopsie, and bring it to a sitting position like this, to a standing position like this. Okay, now you can check and see if you're off, if there's enough overlap. This is all good. All right, you can see the joint here, right? So I'm going to first clean this up because I can see it. Just using a damp finger and cleaning it up. You can use the back side of a clay knife as well. You can use your soft silicone rib as well to just blend the two sides together. Okay, so the inside is done. Just get rid of this here, seal it all up. Okay, now we have to do the same thing on the outside, and for that I don't think I can really show you what I'm doing here. I'm basically doing the same thing, just pressing the two sides together, making sure there's the overlap, and then attaching the two together. Right, you will lose a little bit of texture here, and that's okay. Just make sure that your joint is secure, that's all, because you're going to be adding a little bit of volume to the bowl here. It's better to just make sure that everything is nicely joined before you start doing that. Okay, now if you see, the base is not exactly round. Now to round off the base, what we're going to do is, there's a little trick that you can do. You have to first turn this upside down. Okay, yep, I'm gonna just do this. Ideally flip it, not the way I did it. Ugh. Anyways, so once you have this here, then I'm going to use my terracotta pot and trying to bring everything to a little bit of a round here. Okay, even the base, just turn this around in the pot to make it as round as you possibly can. Okay, I think that looks nice and round. Now what we're going to do is, this round I'm going to measure quickly. In the template you already have this, but if you're like me, sometimes your clay can stretch or something, you can just see which size works. This is 3.5 and this is about 3.25, 3.75. So I think I'm going to go with this one, right? And then we'll take it off. We'll take off the excess if we need to. So bringing this slab here again, which has already got the texture, I'm going to move this out of the way. Bring this here. That's why I said don't throw it away, we'll need it. Using the 3.75, cutting out a circle. Okay, this can be used for some other project, so you're going to move this out of the way. Now before I attach the two, you can see that it sits nicely. Before I attach the two, I'm going to do a couple of things. One is add my signature, so just clean off a little area. And then I'm going to just quickly clean off a little bit of the sides here. We may need to take some of the clay off, but for now I'm just cleaning whatever I can. And if you see, this is not exactly a circle. My cookie cutter is slightly non-circular, so I'm just trying to bring it back into a circle, because otherwise our pot will be a little bit off. So trying to bring this to a circle. I think that looks good now. Take a board, and bring in a banding wheel. Let's score the base here. I'm going to use my serrated rib dipped in water, and I'm going to score fairly inside the circle, not just at the edge, but I'm going slightly in as well, because that's a smaller circle. So, and then just putting the slip back onto the clay surface, right? Move this out of the way, bring this guy here and do the same. Now here what you're going to do is you're going to score the, so this is at a little bit of an angle. So I have to score this nicely so it becomes nice and flat. Okay, so spend a couple of seconds just flattening the base off. Can you see how it's flattened? Now when you flatten it, automatically the circle also kind of becomes a little bigger. Just nice and flat. You can see I score fairly aggressively, just making sure it's all level. That's also the other thing I'm doing here. Okay, now I'm going to bring this and try and find the center and place it on top of this. Okay, yeah, it looks good to me. Now I can bring another board, but before I do that, I'm going to just press. If you need to get down to the table level to make sure it's, kind of centered your base and it's not onto one side, off onto one side. So I'm just pressing around here a little bit on the edge. Okay, now I'm going to bring another board, place it on top here, and then flip. I should have idly done this when I was flipping it over the first time around, but here you have your beautiful bowl. You're done. Need to first stick the inside of the bowl to the base, and for that I'm going to use the back of a clay knife. Well, clay knife, right? What I'm going to do is, so there are two things you can do. You can either make a coil and attach that on the inside, or you can use this guy and just kind of press like this. Can you see I'm just pressing a little bit of clay from the top edge here? There will be a little bit of edge, so just pressing that in. That's why you need a slightly bigger slab of clay at the base. There you go. So that's one round done. Next round, I'm going to use my hands and just clean everything up, seal everything up nicely, and get rid of the clay knife marks as well. And that's a straight edged bowl done. You can spend some time kind of making sure that the edges are even and not slightly, off, and shape it. But that's one shape that you get with that template, right? Let me just show you. This is what it looks like. You can clean off the base, again, using a clay knife or a silicone tip tool or a synthetic brush. You can just clean off the base a little bit, and this is the shape you'll get, a straight edged bowl, right? That's one stage. Now if you want to add a little bit of volume, to add volume also, there are a couple of different moves that you can do. I can do only one on this one and I'm going to show you that one, the one that I prefer and I like better. So there are two things. One is using, because this has a big wide mouth, we can easily use a rib, the rounded side of a rib, not the straight side, the rounded side towards the wall, and we can stretch it out like this, right? Create a belly this way. The other option is to lift the belly up, to lift the clay like this, okay, using this motion. I'm going to be using this motion where I'm going to be pushing the clay out and up. So it's this motion basically. So instead of doing this, I'm going to be doing this, right? Why? It gives a slightly different shape. So when you're making these, try a couple, leave one straight, try it with this motion, try it with this motion, and you'll see the difference. They all give you a slightly different shape. Now, when I'm doing this upward motion, I will have to hold on to the bowl wall, like the base. So this finger is going to hold on to the base, and this is going to hold on to the top. So something like this. And then, so I've just quickly dunked it in water, taken the excess off, so it's nice and moisturized. It has a little bit of water, so it's easy to glide. So I'm just holding on to the base and the top, and then pressing out like this, okay? So this is what I am doing. There you go. Can you see? It's keeping the walls up, but it's adding a little bit of that roundness. Here, let me show you. Can you see that roundness coming through? Right? So this is just one way of doing it. So I'm now going to again do the same thing, holding on to the base and the top, supporting at least those two, and then just going up like this. And if you need, sometimes I'll use the entire hand. The motion is upward motion. That's the only thing you have to remember. It's not this motion. And you'll see it'll give you completely different results. Now I'm using the entire rounded side of the uh, rib to do this. Let me just finish this one round and I'll show you what this looks like. Okay, can you see the shape changing? I know the rim is not entirely round. It's okay, we'll get to that. But for now, oopsie, can you see it's getting nice and round? So I'm going to spend a couple more times, do a few more of these upward swings, and then we'll start working on the shape. And I'll give you another version where I'll add that flower shape to it. Okay. Now I'm supporting it from the entire thing with my hand like this. I'm supporting like this. Once I've done that, now I'm going to get down to table level once and see if my bowl is kind of balanced, looking balanced, if it needs any more ribbing on the inside from any one side. I do feel a little bit of a imbalance, like I can see it right here, but I'm going to get down to table level and check and see if this looks okay. All right, I think this looks good now. Okay, so once you're happy with the way this looks, I'm going to try and round off the rim a little bit, clean it up and round it off before we move on to the next step. This was, kind of version 2. First is a straight bowl, and then we added a little bit of volume. Okay, now we are on to the third step. Okay, this looks nice and round. Let me try and show you what this looks like. There you go. Can you see that? Oopsie, can you see that? Yeah. So that's where we are at. Now, the next step is to add those little indents which make it into a little flower shape. Okay. Now for that, what we're going to do is I'm going to use my clay knife again, and let's start. I mean, you can start anywhere. I'm just kind of trying to not make that little indent around the join. So I'm just seeing where the join is. My join is right here. So I'm going to start at this point. Okay. All I'm doing is taking my clay knife and sliding it underneath here. Okay. Wherever till the point I can. And then just lightly pressing this up, bringing this up like this and in here. Can you see? Just a little bit of an indent I've created here. It's not too deep, but it's just going in like this and creating this little indent right here. Okay, and then pressing around here. Okay, now I'm going to make one right opposite just to form more or less uniform indents, right? You just go here and come here and then press a little bit, just a tiny bit. And I'm doing this 2 times at least so that the clay kind of remembers. Right now we're just making these indents and then we'll see. So I'm going to make 2 more, I think. All right, one here. And so once I have these 2, I can kind of see where the others will come. So I'm just marking those here and then just taking this and making a little bit of that indent. Yeah. So these are not really perfect indents, but they'll do. So don't worry about it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I need something sharper than that. You can use your uh, silicone rib for this. Just again place it here against the wall and press. Okay, don't go all the way in, just lightly press to create this little indent here. Kind of sharpen it. Now you can just do these indents just at the top and not go all the way to the base like I am. That's also quite possible. All right, now we have these. Now it's up to us how you want to kind of pronounce these, what do you want to do with these. So what I'm going to do is with a damn finger, I'm just pressing this out, rounding this off and bringing this in, rounding this off and bringing this in. So I'm now playing with the rim a little bit. I can see it's not even. That's okay. Just damn fingers, and now it's up to you how pronounced you want your uh, petals to be. Yeah, you can see these two are kind of bigger, the rest are more or less the same size, so it's okay. It's not too bad. So now we'll shape it a little bit more because it kind of goes out of shape a little bit, right? So I'm gonna again focus on the rim, round it off a little bit like this. Right, so now you see that's my floral shape bowl. Let me just show you what it looks like from the side. Right, can you see that? I think it looks really pretty. And clean up the inside if you need to. So when you're drying these, dry them outside. Don't dry them outside. Always dry them under a plastic so that you get a nice even pot. Another thing you can do is I'm going to take my rib and then again holding the top and the base, I'm going to pronounce the center of each of these. Just push out the centers a little bit, you know. This one, do the same for this one. So supporting from the outside and then pushing out the petal a little bit, mostly the center. Can you see I'm just pushing the center and not really going over the entire bowl surface. Again, these are all design choices. It's up to you how much of a round puffy bowl you want. Can you see those little puffs coming up now on the sides? So again, you can play around, see what kind of shapes you like, and then go from there. So that's my flower bowl. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm going to clean up the inside quickly. Okay, coming back to drying. So this is going to dry really slowly under a plastic. Uh, don't leave it outside even when it looks like okay it's almost set. I would suggest let it dry slowly under a plastic so that it stays nice and round and doesn't go out of the round, because I have faced some warping with these bowls because when I made a whole bunch of them and I thought, oh, this is grog clay and they're not really many joints here, so it's okay if I just leave them outside. No, it's not okay to leave them outside. So make sure that you cover them with plastic and don't let them sit outside to dry. I think a week, 10 days is what I will give it before I let it sit outside in the open. I'm just fussing around a little bit with the pot again. That's just okay. Now I'm happy with this. I'm gonna leave it. I will put in pictures towards the end of what it looks like from different directions, but that's our bowl. I hope you enjoyed the class and I will see you in the next one. Bye.